Donna, or Belladonna, whatever you know me as out there. I kind of just wanted to make a video about where I'm coming from now that you guys see me on Facebook and Instagram and Tumblr with all of my fitness and all of my plans, and I kind of wanted to give you an insight as to where I'm coming from and why my life has changed so much, and what my plans are. But basically, I know that for a majority of my adolescence and my teenage years, I suffered from an eating disorder. And granted, I'm going to tell you that I was never officially diagnosed, but I was classified as an eating disorder, otherwise not specified, by numerous of my my counselors. So I'm one of those people who I didn't fit the mold, but I definitely dealt with something, and so I just wanted to kind of give my story about it. So I just want to tell you that all I can say is that here I am now, and this is what I remember, and it's so different now that I'm on this side of it, to realize, like, it's so different when you're in it, even though every day is still a struggle, but you get through it. But essentially, all I can say is that I remember from an early age just thinking that I was fat. And let me just tell you that, like, yes, I do have history in my family of obesity, slightly overweight, things like that. But I don't think that it comes from that. I don't think it stems from that. I think it was definitely more me, my personal views on myself, and my insecurity. I definitely dealt with a little bit more on the inside than I let out. And I just remember being 5 years old or like 6 years old, and I just remember being so young and in tears, like the kind of tears that you cry when you're in a tantrum, because I was so upset that I was so fat. And it's weird because I didn't know then that the rest of my life would be like that. And that's the sad part. Like, I didn't realize that this was actually an issue. Like, what? And so I remember it didn't really register that I was actually dealing with an eating disorder until I was older. I know I spent a lot of time running. Like, I have always loved running, and people think I'm ridiculous because I love running, but I do for not just therapeutic reasons and obviously all of that, but I'm really good at it. And I just, from a young age, I was really good at running. And granted, it didn't show in school because I didn't care, but I know, like, soccer and everything like that. Like, soccer made me run so much, and I remember my dad forcing me to play basketball, and basketball was so much running, but I'm not good with my hands when it comes to, like, bouncing a ball and putting it in a basket. So I'm better at running and kicking a ball. So that's what I did. And then I just remember where I was, and, like, I learned really on, like, how to track my food. And you shouldn't be a 12-year-old who's tracking what you're eating. But, I mean, I come from a history of, like, I used to get weighed regularly, or I have a sister who's just gorgeous beyond words, and I was her little sister, but I was always considered the big sister. And so that's not anything on her, that's just the reality of the situation. And it hurt. It was hard. Like, I was always the big sister when I was the little sister. And so I spent a majority of my time counting calories. Granted, I don't think I did it right, but little things. And since I had paid for lunches, I didn't eat them. I would eat oranges. I wouldn't eat. I don't know how I did it, because now I love food. Like, I want to eat all the time. But then I remember one of my crazy habits that I had was literally, I would go the whole day without eating, and then I was allowed to eat dinner, which in reality makes no sense. But I would eat dinner, and I was usually home alone. So then what I would do is I'd make dinner, probably like the lowest thing that I could possibly make, and then I would eat it while walking, like pacing my living room and my kitchen. And I was always home alone, so, like, no one ever really knew that this is what I was doing. So I was like, I gotta get this many steps in, I gotta walk this long, and things like that. And that was just like the tip of the iceberg. I'm like, I don't even know how old I was when I started doing that, but just did it all the time. I do love food though, like I gotta admit that now. But and then I just remember I remember being a sophomore in high school and learning that I can eat all of this food and like put on this persona, but then I can go into the privacy of my room, or I can go outside, like where people are, like where they aren't, and I can just get rid of it all. Like, and it was insane. It was something that slowly took over my life, and I didn't realize it because it was so easy. And as terrible as it sounds, there were habits that I liked to do. Like, I actually thoroughly enjoyed it, which is sad. And it wasn't until I was in college that the extremeness really took over, and I went from being like probably like 145 to 119, 116. Like, I definitely never got low to the point where like all my life was in danger, but I definitely drastically dropped weight. Like, it was a ridiculous amount of weight, and it's sad. Like, and I had these moments where like I remember thinking that I was fat and I wasn't. Like, my face was different, my arms, I had a thigh gap, like, I can't, and I still thought I was fat, and I look back now and I'm like, I cannot believe that I thought I was fat. But anyway, not the point. I just remember in college it was super easy because I didn't have a lot of food. I was really poor my first year. I mean, granted, I was poor through the whole thing, but like, it was really easy because my food was bought for me about every month and a half. So I had to make it last. So it was pretty easy then. But then we had a gym on our campus, so then I would just get up at 6 a.m. every single morning, 6 a.m. Can you imagine? Like, I'm like a 19-year-old getting up at 6 a.m. every single day just to go run for an hour on a treadmill and an elliptical. And I did it. I did it every single day. So I know that I had determination. I just didn't know why. And I knew that for some reason it was going to bite me in the ass at some point. And it did. Because with all of that struggle and that anxiety of food, and like whether or not someone's watching what you're eating, and whether or not did I eat too much, like, it's just one of those things where you really have to look at yourself, because people can point it out and they can say things and then you get insecure, you take it the wrong way. Like, some people would tell me, like, did you eat? Or ask me, did you eat today? And it's like one of those things where, like, really? You're asking me if I ate? Of course I ate. Like, ugh, I'm a disgusting person who ate. No, it's really, in all reality, it's the fact that I struggled so much with food. It wasn't just the exercise. Like, I've always exercised. I was always really good at it. I love exercising. I love it. But it was the food part. And my battle with food was so hard. And I feel like at some point I kind of traded the food issue with alcohol, and I replaced food with alcohol. And that's a whole different story and a different part of my life. But now I'm here. I am almost 25 years old, and I have been on a 6-month journey of weight training. And then about a 9-month just active lifestyle. And I really have taken the time to learn what I need to do to be healthy, and just be active and understand my food and intuitively eat and just be happy in my own skin, because that's what I want to be. And I can definitely say that even at 24 years old and in the month of January, when my personal trainer is telling me that I'm not eating enough to gain muscle, I had a meltdown. I literally had a meltdown. I had a set schedule with work where, like, it was so easy not to eat lunch. I didn't necessarily have to eat breakfast. I didn't have to, and it was easy, and I got away with it. And then you can't build muscle by not eating. And people like to really kind of chalk it up to the fact that I was a vegetarian, but I want to tell you now that I have been a vegetarian for almost 9 years, and I still managed to get, like, all of this. So I think meat's not the problem. So I I just remember multiple people in my life in my fitness journey just telling me like, well, make sure with dinner that you eat something that has protein. And I had to do all of this research and figure this all out. And I remember this night where I was like, I know I'm hungry and I'm so hungry and I worked so hard today. And my workout was so intense. And I was sore, like I ached. And I knew that I needed to eat enough to recover. And I sat there and I made this whole meal, and it was very protein packed, and it was probably like triple what I normally eat because I was like, my eyes are bigger than my stomach, but whatever. But I was hungry, and I get there and I start eating it, and I just start to have this breakdown, and I realized that like my battle with food is not over. Like I could not get myself to eat what I needed to eat, but now I'm here, and it's June, and food isn't really the problem right now. It's weird because I had constant reassurance about the fact that like the goals that I want will not be achieved unless I take care of myself. And it's amazing what regular activity has done for my mental health and my ability to process things in my sleep and my energy levels. Like, I might be tired and I might be sore, but it's not the sore where I'm like, oh my god, I hate my life and I'm sick and blah. No, I'm literally like, I know I worked hard and I know tomorrow I'm going to be even stronger. And that's where I am. And for me, it is still a battle. Like, I am insecure. I still think I'm fat from time to time. Um, I don't like that now that I've weight trained, my jean size is bigger and not smaller. But my body fat percentage is smaller, but my weight on the scale is higher. Things like that. But I know that I am physically strong. As a human being, we are meant to be physically strong. Have this ability, and that's what I'm proud of. So, and it's a constant journey, and I just wanted to share with you where I'm coming from and why I do what I do, because a lot of you send me messages and ask me how I do it and why I do it and why the sudden change and just like all of this stuff. And it's not a sudden change. This has been me my entire life. It's just been the last 6 months I figured out that weight training is more enjoyable than just cardio and hours of cardio. And I really like what it's done for my body and how I feel. So that's pretty much why I do what I do now. And yeah, I'm definitely here to answer questions, be there as a support. I'm not a professional. I'm just me, and I don't want anyone to like take this as like examples of way to live your life, because ugh, I've come a long way. So, but yeah.